Yo, what's poppin'? Peace! What's good? Peace! Believe in human. Oh, wait, hold on. Believe in humanity. Humanity, guys. Humanity. Today, we are here. Starting a new series called Freaky Frightening Fridays. It's a good way for me to post videos because every Friday, if I have nothing to post or if I need to post something, I can post a Freaky Frightening Freaky Frightening Friday. So there's always a guaranteed video on Friday. Yeah, I know this video is supposed to be up on Friday, but yep, of course it's not. Let me explain FFF, aka Freaky Frightening Fridays to y'all. Freaky Frightening Fridays are the days where we watch scary videos on YouTube. So yeah, it's a guaranteed video every Friday. So I might slack off like Corey Kenshin does on SSS, but I really want to make this a long ass series. Let's do this. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, today we are gonna be watching some scary videos. So right now I only have 20 more minutes to go. So right now, today we're gonna be watching videos uploaded by Wanze Entertainment. So it's a really cool animated scary video channel. The first video we're gonna watch is 2 True Horror Stories Animated. The Figure Clown. 2 True Horror Stories Animated. 2 in 1. 5 minutes to watch. Let's watch it. What happened?
My name is Sky, and I'm gonna tell you something that happened to me when I was young.
It's not my
It was
recording
May of
quality right now,
2011,
guys.
and I was only 4 at the time. I was at home with my Uncle Jason as my mom had gone out with friends and said she
it's the
probably
video's
wouldn't
problem,
be
okay?
back
It's not
until
me.
5 a.m.
So okay, let's just watch, okay?
So my uncle and I stayed up all night watching movies. I eventually got tired and told my uncle that I wanted to go to bed. At around 3 a.m., I woke up for no reason at all, and I looked out the window. I saw a figure standing in the middle of the road.
That looks like some SCP crap. Oh damn!
But then I noticed that there was only one person.
Ooh.
Suddenly,
oh,
in one swift movement, the figure ran to my window and tapped at it with a fast speed with his slender finger. And kept saying,
I'm busting out the whatever that is heavy and painful. The use to hit people. I'm swinging, breaking the window. I'm swinging.
Saying, I'll be coming every night, and I will get you, Sky.
No thanks.
I froze. It knew my name.
It knew my name.
When the tapping slowed down, it made a very loud, ear-piercing scream, and then
it was right in front of you, though.
It took me a few minutes to gather my strength to move again.
I'm surprised you didn't fall back, though.
Once I did, I ran to my uncle and shook him awake. I told him what I saw. He looked at me and asked me what he looked like. I described him the best I could, and
Bald
that's when
man,
he told me
few strands
that
of hair,
what I saw
red eyes.
was a person of some kind who was going to seriously hurt me. He meant to kill me, but he didn't say that because I was so young.
For real.
And he said he would always protect me and he would always be here for me.
My boy! My boy!
It's been 10 years since I saw that man, and my uncle died in September.
Oh,
I still haven't told my mom about this, but I plan to one day.
That was my boy right there. That was my dog.
I still dread to think what would have happened if my uncle wasn't there, and if the man had managed to get into the house.
Whoa. Chill. Peace. Clown.
When I was 23, I went to
God.
Florida to visit my friend Sophie. Sophie was my best friend in high school.
Yo, what's good, Sophie?
But in the 11th grade, she moved to Florida because her dad was busy with his business. So after a long time of not seeing her, we decided to rent a cottage together for a month. We were searching for one online, but almost all of them were too expensive, until we found one that only cost $2,000. Me and Sophie thought it was nothing.
Charming house with all
especially for that
needed
area.
essentials.
So we
I'm being so rude.
and rented it right away.
Of course.
The next day, we went.
He looks the same in person as well. Aren't y'all intrigued? Like, hey yo, do you shower?
And the guy introduced us to the cottage. We handed him the money, he handed us the keys, and he left. We then went to go buy stuff we needed at IKEA. 3 days later, weird things started to happen. Me and Sophie were sleeping in our rooms when we heard this noise at the front door. It
Whoa! Goosebumps! Hello?
Laughing. Sophie went to see, but she didn't see anything. 4 days later, Sophie went to go buy groceries and I was watching TV when I heard the same noise at the front door. I checked, but again, nobody was there.
Is that... Wait.
Some time passed and Sophie came back with the groceries. We
Is that
started
the landlord,
cooking
though?
until
Trying to
we
be a
heard
clown?
that same noise again.
Why are you holding
But
those
this
tomatoes
time
like that?
we heard something else too. It sounded like something sharp scraping against the door.
Okay.
And we heard laughing and someone said, "It's the police, open up."
Yeah, sure.
Sophie grabbed a knife for protection. She opened the door.
Why
and
would
she
you
saw
open
a
the
tall
door?
man dressed in a clown costume. The
Oh,
clown
heck
had
nah.
sharp scissors, and the clown was going to stab Sophie. But Sophie was faster, and she
Yes.
stabbed him in the leg.
Yes, sir.
Then me and Sophie ran as
What's
fast
that?
as we could to the basement
Sir.
and slammed the door shut, locking it tight. Then we called the police.
Yes, sir.
While
We gotta
Sophie
call the
was
real
calling
police.
the police, I saw something weird. I saw a hand.
Oh my god.
in a
My god, the bar.
I opened the bag and, to my horror,
Why?
I saw a body that was eaten alive. Sophie saw
Cannibal
it
moment.
and froze. She stopped talking to the police on the phone. Then we heard the clown banging on the door to open up.
Gosh, dang.
So scared.
Of
Finally,
course.
we heard the police shout, "Hands in the air!" They told us when it was
Like, you
safe to
just
come
don't
out,
care.
and we were shocked.
It was the landlord.
guy
It was the
that
landlord. Come
rented
on.
The cottage
I
to
know.
us was
I'm a master detective, man. Y'all gotta sign me up. Nah, heck, nah. I'm not doing shit like that. Nah.
the clown. Turns out, he was a scammer that rents houses and cottages for a cheap price.
So he can
Days
lure people
later,
in.
He would return and kill the renters.
Told you.
Well, then me and Sophie are still connected. But we
Nice.
will never go to a cottage again in our lives.
Oh, wow. That dude for real be grinding on CSGO. Next story got True Break-In Horror Story animated. Let's see. True Break-In Horror Story.
It all started with a knock on the door. It was around 10 p.m. The kitchen was right beside the front door, so I could see the front yard. I
What?
looked out only to see a man with a mask looking right at the door. Then the lights went off. Whoever was at the front door had left, and I could hear many windows being shuffled. I started fearing for my life. Shivers went down my spine. I am right now enrolled in the Durham Regional Police Academy to become a police officer in the future.
That's good. That's good.
So, in my parents' room, I put my gun,
Yes.
which was an RCMP model 34.
I do not know what that is, but
into
if
a
it
safe
shoots,
my
it
parents
shoots.
stole. My mother, who also looked as frightened as I, said we should make a run for it into the backyard and sprint towards my uncle's house, which was 3 blocks away from us.
Okay.
But I looked towards the backyard glass sliding doors, and I could
Grab
see
the gun.
silhouette of a man and
Do some
realized
pra on that
it
forehead.
looked like he was holding a My mother and I decided to hide in the basement, as it had the most durable lock. We
That's-
brought in kitchen
okay,
knives
okay,
and hid
okay.
there in the vast darkness.
How about your
My mother
gun?
was crying, so I reassured her that everything was going to be okay.
You're police,
An
right?
hour went by, just staying there but not hearing any noises.
Damn,
My
this music.
father should have been home by now, I thought to myself. We carefully went out of the basement and we saw that there was nothing. That's when I realized that I had a gun upstairs. I felt a
You just noticed? Cause if I was a cop and I'm in this situation, my first thought was to go grab my gun. Like, the first thing I want to do is grab my gun. I do not care, but my first instinct is to find a way to get my gun first.
I didn't know the code for the safe, so my mother opened it and I got out my gun.
Thank
My
God.
mother was beside me with a kitchen knife as we went into every room to see if anyone had broken in. We didn't find
Good,
it,
that's nice.
so we concluded that they were just kids who were ding-dong ditching.
Nah.
My mother was still paranoid as my sister's washer window was cracked open.
Yep.
Both my sisters were on a camping field trip as the school year ended. Due to
Alright.
my mother's paranoia, I slept with her in the master bedroom. And
Let's
I
go.
even
My
brought
boy doing
gun.
some work.
She asked where my father was, and I said, he's probably just busy. I went
Okay,
to bed,
what
but I
time is
woke
it now?
around 2 a.m. to hear my mother shouting. She was in the closet, looking
Whoa!
at something from the closet snatched her. I picked up my gun and pointed from behind me started strangling me. I
Oh, thank
twisted
God they
his
don't
arm
stab
and
you
pointed
first,
the
though.
gun at her. The other man holding my mother pointed a knife towards my mother, but immediately
2 men! friends. Yo, chill. You know what? Hey, yo, I'm dropping my gun. Hey, yo, let's not do this, alright? Okay? I got like $25 in the safe. You go grab that, and yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Immediately shot his hand.
Ooh.
His shooting skills have succeeded as I successfully hit his arm.
Oh, yo, I
and
got
dropped
played enough
his knife.
COD for this shit.
My mother picked it up as I let go of the man and pointed the gun towards both men. I told my mother to check the signal and electricity cable, and she rushed to check. In a minute, the lights turned on and notifications were popping up on my phone. I picked up my phone and dialed 911, and my mother called my father. I unmasked one of the men, and it was this 40-year-old man with a lot of facial hair and looked frightened. I unmasked the other one and was shocked to see my father's ex-best friend, Tony. I remember meeting him a lot, and my father and he were close, but this man got involved with drugs or something.
No
My
wonder.
father saw his changes and decided that this will eventually turn into a toxic friendship, so left him.
Now this has
But he
no
was very
top-
aggressive.
There's no
My
relationship
father
in
was
this.
beaten up by him and his friends.
Wow.
My father ran back home and called the police on his best friend, and at court testified against him. And
Yes,
Tony
sir.
was sentenced to 16 years in jail for illegal drug use. It had been 16 years, but I didn't know how he got to our location and why he would rob us. The police came and arrested them. Their car had weapons. My father didn't pick up when the police went to go see his office, and he was not there. He left his work office 5 hours ago. My mother and I cried, and they found my father's body the next day at a dumpster, as it was wrapped in a garbage bag. He had 17 stab wounds. Both my sisters had to come back, and we all cried. Tony and his friend, who we found out was named Tyler, were both sentenced to death.
Of course, bro.
We had a funeral
what?
for my father shortly after. I still can't forget that incident. 3 weeks after that incident, I rebuilt and styled the basement and put it for rent. I got a part-time job at Walmart, and my mother
Yes, sir.
and one of my sisters worked for my mother's friend who had a dress shop.
Right.
That's how we kept the house, as we didn't want to sell our house. I became a police officer at the
Yeah.
police, and I've been working for 10 years.
10 years.
Purchased a new house, which was a 2-garage, huge house for my sisters, mother, and me. I rented my former house, and I am 28 now.
28.
I'm going to get married this year. I was
Yay!
even told by my chief that I might be appointed as the chief of police for the Durham Regional Police. My life is going great right now, but I wish my father could see this, and I could give him a big hug in person.
Man, we are going to react to this one last one, which is called A Crying Man. Horror story animated. I'm not sure if I have enough time, but okay, let's go.
Back in high school, I was a school bully. Now, I'm a grown-up.
And you're still
But I
a bully.
still regret those days. Well,
Good.
more specifically, what I regret is not about being a school bully back then.
What?
My regret originates from a terrible memory, which I'm going to tell you about now. In those days,
okay.
I and my friends, Tom and Blake, used to hang out together and bully others. And
Man,
there was
you-
one
you suck.
classmate in particular we victimized the most. I can't mention his name here, but
He
we
bigger
used to
than
call
you.
him the punching machine. We often punched him and asked what our score was. Then he rated us, and we continued
Oh.
to punch him until each of us got a higher, more satisfactory score. He was a big
What?
guy, about 6'3" tall, who used to be beaten by others. Even after we became adults, we often went to him and bullied him. One fall.
I don't understand. So you go to that dude, and you punch him, and he'll rate the punch.
The sky looked exceptionally blood red, and it has bled into my memory as the day. While we were bullying him as usual, he suddenly put out his hand, saying this.
Oh, he was also getting bullied, but instead of only bullying him, they are using him as like a toy or something. Hold on, pause.
While we were bullying him as usual, he suddenly put out his hand, saying this.
It feels like I'm gonna cry. Please stop it, or I'll cry and all of you guys will be dead.
It froze us for a second, but soon, Tom burst into laughter and said,
If you cry, what? We're gonna be dead? Yeah, maybe.
Yo,
we are gonna die laughing, you dumbass.
Then Blake said,
Wow.
Uh-oh, seriously. We have never seen him crying. Let's make it real today.
Wow.
Then this dude roared super loudly like a big lion, and his tears started falling to the ground. It was the first time I saw him crying. His shoulders heaved like crazy, and he breathed in and out so heavily, like it was almost penetrating into the ground. When we realized he was getting enraged, he suddenly pounced on Tom and choked him. Tom struggled hard to escape from him, but he was no match for him at all. He squeezed Tom's throat
What do you expect? A 6'3" dude. Hey, he's big sized as well.
with incredible power, and Tom's eyes were about to pop out of his head. Then he threw Tom against the wall. Tom slammed into the wall and just passed out. I thought he might be dead because Tom hit the wall so hard. He now started at me, and I looked to the side. Blake was already running away.
Wow.
I started shivering from top to bottom in fear. Walking slowly towards me, he said, "My mom said no one can stop me once I cry, so she's never gotten on my nerves. Neither has my dad."
Damn.
Suddenly, pausing for a moment, he started writhing in agony and pulling out his hair. Then he said in a low and cold voice, "I'll give you 3 seconds. Run for your life." His eyes already turned into a murderer's. His pupils were red as if smeared with blood. I thought I had to run away, but I couldn't move my legs. Before I knew, he was already right in front of me. He suddenly lifted me up without any difficulty, just like picking up a basketball.
Oh, now you
or something.
crying?
Then he
You
hurled
started
me
this
down
shit.
on the ground. As soon as I was thrown to the ground, I blacked out for a bit. After a while, I heard a police siren. Yes, Blake called the police. I opened my eyes and saw him. He was looking at me, standing still. He was still crying. He didn't run away, although the police siren was getting closer. And when he found me opening my eyes, he threw a punch at my face. I couldn't breathe. With his continuous
He
punches,
threw a punch
I was
or he
getting
didn't
knocked
give
out.
you a
He
14-piece
said,
combo, right?
"You want to live? Then stop my tears." There was nothing I could do but tremble in overwhelming fear. At that moment, the police finally arrived, and they told him to put his hands up, but he ignored them and spoke in a low mumble, walking heavily towards the police. "No one can stop me when I cry. Even police can't." The police shouted
For
urgently.
real?
Stop, or I'll shoot!
But he didn't stop. Instead, he rushed the police officer just in an instant. The officer immediately shot a taser at him, but he didn't stop, even though he got tased. He picked up the officer threw him. Then another officer ran to him to arrest, but he was also knocked down to the ground by his
Do you see what
powerful
happened?
punch,
He
just
did not
like
get stopped by a
piece of
taser.
Wood. And finally, the bang, the sound of a gun. He stopped. After about 3 seconds, his knees touched the ground, and soon he fell to the ground.
Yo, I feel
He
bad
was
for
lying on
both
the
people.
ground with his eyes wide open, not moving anymore. The officer checked his pulse on the neck, then sent the other officers a hand sign. He's dead. My vision was blurred, but I could see the police officers running to me in a hurry. I felt like this was all a dream. No, I rather wished it was just a dream.
Okay.
But it wasn't. Since that day, I have emotionally suffered so much from this memory. It completely changed my personality.
Good.
Can't meet
There's a
one.
life lesson for
I'm
your
cooped up
dumbass to not
inside
be
the
a
house
bully.
all the time. It has been already 10 years. Although I'm getting better little by little, this trauma still affects my whole life. If I see anyone crying, I can't stand it, and I just run away. There was also a time that I fortunately had a girlfriend, but when she cried, I ran away, like an insane man. After some time, we just broke up. Many years have passed, but I still can't overcome this trauma. Remembering that day still makes me shudder, just like a helpless tree fluttering in the typhoon.
Ooh, I gotta call my friend. Wait a minute, what I say I gotta do again? Minute to minute, I feel like I'm in the movie moment to what I don't.